Quick show of hands. How many? And we saw how many people went to ephemeral. How many people are just familiar with seasteading? Just put your hand up if you're very familiar with it. Okay, so I'm seeing like maybe half, maybe 60%. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is I'll talk about just kind of give an overview of like why we want seasteading, why we need seasteading, why this technology is beneficial. Is it already pulled up? Oh, good, it is. Okay, so seasteads as seeding grounds for new technologies. So I'm going to start with my hypothesis on relevant to seasteading. Increasing freedom of choice also increases health, technology, economic growth, and individual happiness. So now let me present my arguments in favor of why I believe this hypothesis is correct. So this chart right here above me is showing how many years beyond the age of 60 the average person will live in a series of countries. And in green, we have the number of healthy years, and in blue, we have the number of years that you live past 60, but you're not so healthy. You're not in such great health. Now, if you look at the countries at the top of the list, you have Japan, Singapore, Israel. These are notably, so I could say they're Western democracies, right? But actually, it's not even true. Japan and Singapore and Israel, none of those are in Western Europe. So, but what they are is they're generally lower regulation, they're lower taxes, they have more free market oriented economies. Now, if you look at the three countries at the bottom, Nepal, India, Rwanda, India especially is very high regulation. Some people call it a licensocracy. You need something like 57 permits to open up a coffee store. So that can be a bit of an issue, as you imagine. And you'll see a correlation that the more free and open economies of Japan and Singapore, you live 14 years past 60 in good health. This for the average person, and then 10 years past 74 in not so good health. You compare that to India, for example, you'll live only 9 years after 60, and the quality of your life is going to be lower. So clearly, there's a difference in these countries and the quality of life that you get. Well, let's keep going. What else can we say about different countries around the world? I want to keep going with my hypothesis. So this is the Global Innovation Index of 2023 by the World Intellectual Property Organization. So what they've done here is they've ranked the top 15 countries leading the world in science, technology, and innovation. We have Switzerland, Sweden, United States, UK, Singapore, Finland, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Korea, France. You got China, and in the top 15 countries in this list, only China's the only one that is a communist country. You had, I don't know if my mouse will show up here. Oh, good, it does. Whoops, let's go back here. You had Hong Kong in 2022, and then it dropped off the list, probably because the way that Hong Kong operates became less free market after China took it over. Now I'm going to show a chart of the average annual income. And this is where I really want to kind of drill home the point that I'd like to make here. I'm going to switch back and forth between these next two charts. So here is a map of the Economic Freedom Index, the Global Economic Freedom Index by the Heritage Foundation. You can see that in green, America and Canada have high scores of economic freedom, whereas Mexico and Brazil have low scores of economic freedom. Let me back it up to a slide. America and Canada have higher average annual income, and Mexico and Brazil have lower average annual income. Now let's take a look at Western Europe. Western Europe has 73, 63, 69, 76 in this area. You look at Africa, you have 43, 47, 56, 53. So Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, is more predisposed to having dictatorships. I say predisposed, but really look at the governments of sub-Saharan Africa. A lot of them are dictatorships. They have not very good private property rights, whereas Western Europe, by comparison, it's got its issues. But in terms of the guarantee of the right to private property, Western Europe is a lot further ahead. And once again, we'll go back to average annual income. Western Europe, especially this up here, Norway had a 76, right? These countries that have better guarantees of private property, better guarantees of individual liberties, have not just better health, not just more technologies, but also higher average annual income. So the point that I want to make here is that the jurisdiction that you operate in makes a big difference in the quality of your life. So now the question is, if we want more freedom of choice, if we want more lower regulation environments, more individual liberty and autonomy, how do we get that? Well, one option is we can run a political campaign. I can say, I'm going to join the Libertarian Party, and I'm going to run for president against Donald Trump. That's not going to work. Third parties don't win in America. even in European countries, it's more of a multi-party system that doesn't typically tend to go down as well, right? It's very difficult to win votes. It's very easy, by comparison, to just build something new from scratch. And this is really what the whole seasteading concept is all about, as most of you guys are aware. So how do we make more freedom of choice? Well, seasteading is what I would advocate for here. I want to give the example of the 13 colonies that originally founded America when they broke away from the British. The 13 colonies were originally more of a confederation of 13 individual states that had free migration, free trade, common defense, all of these things. They functioned like a single country, but the actual political systems within each colony was competing against each other. So they were competing for governance because it was a decentralized system. People could choose, what government do I want to live under? This competition, this was decentralization. This led to market competition. Market competition for governance leads to higher quality governance. Higher quality governance leads to more technologies, lower regulations, more wealth creation, lower crime. And these things are especially important for the stuff that we talk about at Foresight. All of the technologies that we've talked to up to this point, especially medical technologies, are things that you have to talk to the FDA. You have to go through a lot of regulatory hurdles to implement new medical technologies. Now, there are places like Prospera, which, show of hands, how many people are familiar with Prospera? How many people have been there? Okay, good. So again, like half. I'm seeing about half or so. So that's good. Prospera is a great example of a special economic zone. And actually, Prospera goes beyond just being a normal special economic zone. Prospera, so it doesn't just have its own tax policy, it has its own regulatory policy, and it has its own laws. Not criminal laws, is my understanding. I was there just about 2 weeks ago, so they can't say, oh, murder is legal here. They can't really do that, but they have more autonomy outside of the rest of the jurisdiction of Honduras. So Prospera is a really good first step. Oh, okay. All right, so seasteading advocates building independent countries in international waters. This maximizes freedom of choice. It allows us to custom build the perfect regulatory environments for medical technologies. It minimizes taxes and anti-crypto regulations, and it allows easier immigration and rapid population growth. I want to draw this back to Prospera. Prospera has a difficult time expanding. It's also subject to political pressure from elections in Honduras. If you build a special economic zone in international waters, it's outside of all that stuff. And if it finds itself with an unfriendly neighbor, it can physically relocate. That's something you cannot do with charter cities on land. That's a point in favor of seasteading. Our company is currently building a prototype seasteading city. This is called the Reef Resort. So the Reef Resort is a fully floating, fully self-sustaining. It produces its own water through desalination, electricity. It's off-grid, can produce its own fish through fish farming. We're also growing lobster and seaweed. Right now, this project, we're currently looking for more investors. We have several investors already. So if you guys are interested in getting involved in this, the purpose of this project is to build a floating resort today so that we can build floating cities in international waters and create more of these special economic zones in the future, more autonomous territories. I got 2 slides left. So another benefit to building seasteads is that coastal real estate has higher demand and lower supply than rural or urban real estate. Per square foot, it averages to be, on average, 6 times higher than similar urban real estate if you are in a coastal area in a city. New coastal real estate can be created through seasteading. Reclamation projects just replace one coastline with another coastline, so that's not the same thing. And to show what we're building in the Philippines right now, we're building coastal real estate for $28.80 per square foot. A comparable area in Florida, for example, would sell for $350 per square foot. So as of right now, this is profitable after you sell the property once it's done with construction. We actually have multiple different designs for seasteads. The one that I showed you is the one that we're building the most of. We do have one like this. This is already in the water, right? This is actually, I'm not showing the real picture, but we have one of these in the water already in a place called Boracay. We're building 2 more of these in Samal Island. And if you guys want to follow me on WhatsApp or follow us on our social media, please do so or get in contact with us. I will be showing more of the active construction that we are doing right now. We are building, the very first resort is going to have about 17 rooms all floating on the water. So thank you very much.